When it comes to rape, when it comes to gender-based violence, where can the disabled people go to? And I agree with you, not many of the institutions, even the law enforcement institutions in different locations, have people who probably can understand sign language. And there are certain forms of disability that makes it difficult for individuals to even express themselves. And those are the kind of context that COVID-19 has brought on the world, but specifically to Nigeria. Some of the things we have seen recently is the fact that women, generally the population, have lost their livelihood, but the impact has been hardest hit on women, who many of them find their livelihood in the informal sector, and those informal sector activities actually got closed when they are locked down. And for the disabled women, that is even more troubling because their networks could no longer cater for them. Also, even though there are international conventions that protect the rights of disabled persons, particularly women, and of course there is the National VAP Act, which has not been domesticated in majority of the states, but at the national level is a law. But the implementation of those laws are yet to take effect and bring meaningful punishment. But the impact has been hardest hit on women, who many of them find their livelihood in the informal sector, and those informal sector activities actually got closed when they are locked down. And for the disabled women, troubling because their networks could no longer cater for them. Also, even conventions that protect the rights of disabled persons, particularly women, and of course there is the National VAP Act, which has not been the majority of the states, but at the national level is a law. But the implementation of those laws effect and bring meaningful punishment. But the impact has been hardest hit on women, who many of them find their livelihood in the informal sector, and those informal sector activities actually got closed when they are locked down. And for the disabled women, troubling because their networks could no longer cater for them.
First of all, Nigeria needs to mainstream the rights of persons living with disability. And more importantly, during this COVID era in which more persons living with disability are totally disenfranchised, whether it comes to employment or to education. And we should remember that there are different forms of disability and not just one form of disability. People living with physical disability, but also those living with mental disability. Their vulnerability to sexual violence, their vulnerability to other forms of violence and manipulations in society
is unfounded, yes. Is indefensible, unacceptable. It is unacceptable. Why do you want to put us under this bondage called IPPIS? Today, ASU is complaining. Nigerian Medical Association is complaining. Yes. All those people that they win into joining, they are complaining. Why will you, for those who are bringing out this money, those who are working out the resources of this country, why will you put them into this kind of problem? You divide their money into 12. We don't even
snatching cars. His modus operandi essentially, which we hope he would demonstrate here today, is to board either Uber taxis, Taxify, or take any kind of car hire service or services. Get to
challenges of deaf women is the greatest is communication. Passing of information. We need information to act. Without information, we can't move forward. And deaf women especially need interpreter. They need to communicate. Communication is two ways. We reply, we understand through interpreters. Again, we can communicate through writing. We can communicate through captions, like subtitles of films. We can even bring deaf women, men together. But when this disease started without telling us, without any warning before, we are all shocked. What is the meaning of this? Every day we saw warnings, washing of hands, this and that. Truly, some of us can understand deaf women because deafness comes in different stages. I am deaf, fully deaf, but I can speak well. I think